Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today I feel like talking about what to do when relationships or friendships fall out. So this can happen quite often in our life, right? So what to do when relationships and friendships fall out? I mean, really what to do? Sometimes there just really isn't much that we can do. Like the French said, c'est la vie, such is life, right? Such is the impermanence of life. Right? All this are simply teaching us the valuable lessons on impermanence. The Buddha Dharma is very correct. Right? It is correct not because the Buddha said so, but because we can actually really experience life, and we will know that indeed, right, all things we experience, all relationships, friendships, whatever ships that we experience in this life is indeed impermanent in nature, or emptiness in nature. There is no permanent fixed self-nature that attached to anything. All things are constantly changing due to causes and conditions. So it's common actually for friendships and relationships to fall out. And we do experience maybe a lot of suffering because of that. Why is that? Because attachment leads to suffering. Because we are attached to, we try to grab hold of things that are just impermanent in nature. And that's why we suffer. Sometimes when a really valuable friendship or relationship falls out, we may try our best to want to make it up. Maybe we can explain to other people, or we can repent if it was really our fault to make this friendship or relationship fall out. But sometimes even if we do all of that, even if we try our best to try to make things up, it may not help. The other people may not accept it. Different people, we have different perceptions, different ways of understanding things, different ways of dealing with things. So sometimes even explanations may not work. Apologies may not work. So what to do in that case? Well, there really isn't that much we can do. We just need to learn to accept it and to let go. If we don't want to be permanently suffer in that, then we really need to learn to accept everything, accept things as they are, the thusness, the suchness of the reality, and to learn to let go and move on. Remember, attachment is the root of suffering. If you don't want to suffer too much, then do not be too attached. And we can recite the name of Amitabha Buddha to transform all our attachment. Attachment to things and people that can make us suffer, to the attachment to the name of Amitabha Buddha, which means infinite light and life. Also the Buddha nature within all beings. Another thing we need to remember, and this can perhaps also bring comfort to our mind, is that although things are all impermanent here, but we all share the same Buddha nature. And this is actually permanent, our Buddha nature. This oneness, this interconnectedness between all beings. Even if we're not speaking to each other anymore, even if our relationships or friendships just fall out, but it will not change the fact that we are in essence one. We are in essence the same. So if you can remember that, then you know that in fact you are not separated with whoever that you may not speak with anymore. In essence, you are still one with them, with all things and all beings. And we just send our loving kindness, our compassion to all beings, especially to those people that you may have hurt, or those friendships or relationships, for whatever reason they may just fall out. Do not hold any hatred against anybody. I would just sending our love and compassion to all beings, sending out this wonderful infinite light and life energy of Amitabha Buddha to all of them. So we just keep the mindfulness of Amitabha Buddha. I transform all our ordinary attachment, our negative thoughts into the name of Amitabha Buddha. Sometimes there just really isn't much that we can do. There just really isn't much that we can actually figure it out. Some people may spend a lot of time to try to figure things up and to see exactly why this happened, how it could be like this, etc. Sure, you can spend like all your time to think about it and to try to make things up, but sometimes it just will not work. So instead of wasting all this time and energy, we should just keep the mindfulness of Amitabha Buddha. And knowing that whatever that happens in your life, it's exactly the lesson that we need to learn. To learn about impermanence, to learn about non-attachment, to learn about letting go. So this also happened to me just so many times in my life. Whenever I change a spiritual path, I just changed almost all my friends. Why is that? Because it was just so different. Now I'm practicing Pure Land Buddhism. This was really different from the things that I practiced before. When people had different interests, and that's why things just fall out naturally. These relationships, friendships, they just fall out naturally. Sometimes there is also no need for us to hold on to the old relationships and friendships if they can no longer really serve our growth, particularly on our spiritual journey. And we also need to be true to our heart and to walk the path of our heart. I can, of course, not really talk about the topics of maybe reincarnation and rebirth to many of my old friends. Why? They will not understand. They will maybe think I'm just like crazy completely. It doesn't matter. I also learn to let go, and I have all of you that I can share this interest, passion, or even like a mission in my life. So with that, I'm really grateful. People, they just come and go in our life. So we need to learn to accept it and to practicing letting go, to not be attached too much. And of course, we always have loving kindness and compassion to all beings. So I hope this helps. May all beings be happy and free from suffering. Namo Buddhaya and Namo Amitabha.